Hello wedding wanderers, my name is Assumpta and welcome to Ave Creations TV, a home for busy professionals and entrepreneurs who want to plan a timeless, sophisticated and unforgettable wedding celebration or special event. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In today's video, as the title suggests, we are talking about postponements. I know a number of you may have already had to postpone your wedding or party, or are considering maybe rescheduling or postponing based on the social distancing guidelines that are available. So this video is for you. Stay tuned. As I said, so you've decided to postpone your wedding and you're thinking, now what? Here are some tips that I hope will help you. First things first, contact all of your wedding suppliers and your venue, or rather contact your venue and your wedding suppliers. If you have a wedding planner, definitely have this discussion with them and they'll be able to help you as well. Speaking to your venue is one of your top priorities simply because you'll need to consider a new date. And once you have a date with your venue, then you need to speak to your suppliers, the rest of your suppliers, to see if they're available as well. So number one, speak to your venue and also your suppliers. Secondly, you want to check your wedding insurance and also your contracts. Hopefully you have wedding insurance. It's so important, especially in times like this, and read all of your contracts over again. Hopefully you've read them before you sign them the first time. But the reason why I say you should check your wedding insurance and your contracts is so that you know what options are available to you going forwards. In case maybe a supplier isn't available or can't make the new date, what are your options and how much of your money can you get back? Next, you need to communicate with your guests. I say this next because by the time you've spoken to your venue, your suppliers, checked your contracts, possibly even considered a new date, or maybe not at all, it might be up in the air, but you need to communicate with your guests just to let them know that the original date doesn't stand anymore and that you will get back to them in due course, or if you do have a new date, you can let them know that as well. So yeah, communicate when you have a little bit more information or you feel ready to do so, but don't just leave it up in the air, just in case some people are off the grid and don't get the memo about the global pandemic and show up anyway. So yeah, let them know. Next, you want to grieve. It's okay to not be okay. Don't feel like you have to be on 24/7 or you have to pretend like you're okay and smiling and happy and just chipper and moving on if you don't feel that way. You can put a brave face on, I'm not saying don't do that, but also you need to fully allow yourself to go through the motions and be sad. You're entitled to be, so don't let anybody take that away from you. Another thing for you to consider would be this is for the brides, if you have bought a wedding dress and you have access to it, you need to store it properly, especially if you plan to wear it for your revised date. If you don't know how to store your wedding dress properly, please call the store that you bought it from and I'm sure they'll be able to help you, but you don't want to keep it in plastic. You need to keep it in a cool, dry environment so that nothing happens to it. You don't want any stories come the time. Wedding dresses aren't cheap and you don't want to have to replace that unless you have a different style in mind. So please, something that I'm sure most people don't think about, you need to store your dress carefully. Another thing for you to consider would be to celebrate your original wedding date. If it hasn't passed already, perhaps it's coming up or it's later in the year and you've decided to move your wedding date to next year, particularly if you've chosen a date that's super important to you, think of fun ways that you can celebrate this date together. So when the day comes, you're feeling more joy than sorrow. So if you plan ahead, you'll be armed with things to do to keep you busy and also to reframe the situation that you're in so you can have a great day. And finally, when you feel strong enough and able enough, start planning for your new date. I know it may seem a little bit far along the lines now, you probably don't have the energy, but at some point, if you do decide that you want to reschedule your date, as opposed to making it smaller and just having a civil ceremony, if you would still like to celebrate your family and friends, that requires planning. So when you're ready, start planning. I hope these tips helped. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, do subscribe and share this video with anyone you think may find it useful, and I will catch you in my next video. Take care. Bye.